Good morning. Welcome back to Jane's Stories of Life. Well, it's Friday. Whew, sometimes when Friday comes, you say, Friday, yay day. And sometimes you say, oh, it's finally Friday. Well, today I'm just saying, oh, good, it's Friday. I had a great week. I had a nice surprise visit from my son John and grandson Grant because their plane was diverted on Sunday from landing in Fort Lauderdale and Miami. Those airports were closed, so they ended up in Orlando and decided instead of being stranded in Orlando at the airport, they would come to my house for the night, and they went back the next day. So that was a wonderful surprise. The other wonderful thing I had happen this week is I finally have new lenses in my glasses that now solve the problem I've had for over a year of double vision. I can now drive and not have to close one eye and try to figure out whether that car is in the middle lane, the right lane, the left lane, both lanes, or whatever. So that has been a wonderful change for me this week. Well, we know Friday has its own special charm. I've been retired for 19 years, and yet you'd think, but even with that, Friday is still the end of the week, and I'm always happy to have it come. Friday represented, back in the day, that was the day that after school we would go for a happy hour. It was also the relief that, oh, wow, we have the weekend coming. Whatever plans you had for the weekend, you could enjoy, and you just look forward to Friday. Growing up, Friday was high school football night. And later on, sports, whatever sports, when our children were in high school, they both played basketball. So Friday night was basketball night for both of them. There were other activities that you knew you had going on Friday. Friday night was pizza night. That was a night you knew you weren't going to have to cook. You weren't going to cook. For some places in the later time, Friday was casual day at work. Your dress code may have changed somewhat on Friday. So there were just lots of things to look forward to on a Friday. When I taught, I was a classroom teacher for 36 years. And I don't know why. Who in the world decided that Friday was supposed to be spelling test day? I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, you always had your spelling test on Friday. When I started teaching, everybody did the spelling test on Friday. Monday night, you wrote your words 3 times. Tuesday night, you used each word in a sentence. Wednesday night, there's a whole ritual around spelling words, and Friday was spelling test day. Well, somewhere along the line, I decided that Fridays needed to be different. And so I always told my classes at the beginning of the year, Friday was going to be the day of the unexpected. I knew that routines were important, but I also know spontaneity is important, and you need to learn to go with the flow. So every Friday in my classroom, we did something different. Some Fridays, maybe it was just that I came in with a special treat for everybody. Some Fridays it meant we stopped right in the middle of our reading groups and went outside for recess. Some Friday maybe I said, oh, we'll have the spelling test in the afternoon instead of in the morning. Or we'll have the spelling test on Monday instead of on today. But it was always a thing, whenever I changed things, I would just say, well, it's Friday, the day of the unexpected. And so it really became kind of a fun thing in the classrooms when I taught. The other thing I thought about at school, the last school that I taught in, and I was always K through 3. I taught 4th grade 1 year, but they were too old. The last school that I taught in had uniforms. The last Friday of each month was a day that students could choose to come to school and not wearing their uniform. And let me tell you, if anyone ever questioned whether uniforms affect behavior, every person in that building will attest to the fact that we dreaded that last Friday of the month when children came dressed in whatever they wanted to dress in. Behavior, they were off the walls on that day. As a matter of fact, I think one year the school secretary took the last Friday of the month off that entire year because it was just a whole different, it was amazing to see the change that, came about on the day that they were free not to wear their uniforms. So Friday is just a day of special things. And as you start your weekend, I hope your Friday is a good one. I hope you're happy as I am to have Friday come, and look forward to whatever your weekend plans are. Just think about some of the Fridays that you spent growing up, and maybe some of the special things that you did on Fridays that made that day a special day. So I have, as I say, many that just resonated with me, especially the sports things. So anyway, celebrate Friday, TGIF, cherish your memories and pass them on. Happy Friday and have a wonderful weekend.